Happy Socialist Sunday, people. We're about to get started. Thanks for joining me on the Sunday live stream. On my left eye, I'm your host, Lefty. A massive welcome to everybody this evening. Solidarity. Hope I'm coming through loud and clear. But the chat's a bit quiet at the moment. But according to all of the readings, we are coming through with a smooth connection. Well, I'll kick off with a shout out for this meme. Another great one from Cold War Steve. I give Cold War Steve a follow. So yeah, this isn't one of mine. Gotta give credit where it's due. And we had a photo finish there, but it was just about Doc Davies first in the chat. How you doing? Shortly followed by Brett James. Solidarity, and thanks for throwing up the Palestine flags. Lots to talk about in that area tonight, including someone who's gone viral overnight and throughout today. A friend and associate of mine who featured very recently on the channel as well. Yes, Eurovision. That's what I'm talking about, and youth demand. Because that's what you get here on my left eye. You get to hear it from the horse's mouth, from environmental and political protesters, such as myself. Yeah, a lot to talk about with that. I'll be reminding you of the great speech he did recently, which I filmed. The ceasefire talks, there are apparently going to be a new round of ceasefire talks, but it has been a very violent and bloody week in Palestine, unfortunately. Hundreds of people have been killed as Netanyahu ramps up this, well, what they describe as a military operation. We know the true definition, we know the true syntax, don't we, people? Illegal occupation and genocide are the right terms. And there's a lot of controversy, just going back to the Eurovision thing, not just surrounding the protest itself, when the security were quite heavy-handed, but also around the result itself. It doesn't seem to correlate. That is, the number of votes that Israel got doesn't correlate with the popularity. And further evidence of vote rigging, apparently. Now, I didn't think Eurovision would be one of the main topics of this week's live stream. It's not something that I normally divulge into. Of course, I'm aware of the boycott against Eurovision because of Israel's participation. The answer's in the name, Eurovision. You know, if Israel are allowed to participate, why aren't Palestine? It's ridiculous. I generally don't watch it anyway, but it does get political now and then, you know. Historically, certain countries don't vote for each other. That was certainly echoed after the UK illegally invaded Iraq as well. But anyway, I'm on an amber tangent alert. I'll get back onto that subject later on. Just another shout out before I take the meme down to Cold War Steve for that great meme there. Let's just warm into the stream a little further, brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, they, thems, and comrades alike, here on this Socialist Sunday. If you're not familiar with the channel, it's all about politics and society from a left-wing point of view. Talk about current and historical events, Try and have a few laughs along the way. While we're doing so, there will be a few more uplifting and light-hearted moments as we go through the stream. It's not all doom scrolling, you know. I've got a few more formalities to get through. Before we kick off, we'll be visiting Keith in the Fondue Lounge, of course, very shortly. A few more formalities, as I said. Quick reminder, please do hit thumbs up on the stream, give us a share across your social media, and give us a follow while you're there at MyLeftyUK, preferably on Blue Sky if you're there already, but if not, do come over. It's a great platform when you compare that to the dumpster fire that is Twitter, where we also still do have an account, but perhaps closing that down shortly, and also available on Mastodon. That's one of those other alternative platforms. You won't find us on Truth Social. I'd question what you're doing there in the first place anyway, unless you're just trolling at neocons and whatnot, in which case, have at it. Now let's hear that again, fellas. Perfectly timed, which you'd expect from this professional four-piece outfit here in the studio. Yes, Herbie Ranger and the Supersonics, Sunday's resident house band, here with me. Once again, we've had to carry all the gear up the stairs and retune the piano before we came on stream. Wink wink. They don't do requests, this is the only song that they do, but take a bow, Herbie Ranger and the Supersonics. Electric house jazz. I'm sure you'll agree. Yeah, as well as sharing us around your social media, please do check out some of the recent content. There's members only content out there as well, if you do support the channel. And that brings me beautifully into a segue. Something I'm very pleased to remind people about. Just this week, we've hit the milestone of 100 members. So thank you very much for that. I have, in fact. Well, I did put out a little thank you video during the week as well, but I've done a special 100 members list for the stream as well. Thank you very much, everybody. No, really do appreciate it. That's a milestone we've been really trying to get to for a few months, so thank you very much for all your contributions, gifted memberships and so on. Setting a new milestone soon. Yeah, it's great to grow as a community as well, and see people interacting. I should give a shout out as well to other channels who have done raids into live streams. Kevin Logan and No Justice, for example. I know that some of you have started to follow My Left Eye after raiding in from theirs, so thanks again to everybody. You're very welcome to the community. Thank you very much to all 100 of you. It's just 99 pence as well if you want to join that list of marvellous members, great supporters of the channel. Check out the perks. I'm still working away on the latest in that members only series, My JSO Story, from some of the things that I've been involved with JSO. And Youth Demand, actually, be featuring very shortly on the stream. And speaking of community, let's bring the chat on the screen. Let's make sure that's refreshed. Okay, okay. Right, people, I was set for some fondue. It is a Sunday. Now let's go over to Keith's Fondue Lounge, which is kindly brought to us by the Agitator at Agitate for Change. It's great weather for fondue, I'm sure you'll agree, as the climate crisis kicks in. It's been in the mid-20s all week up here in the northwest where my Lefties broadcasting from. Certainly gets me in the mood for some hot cheese. And of course that dude has been in the news recently with the trade deals. But it's hard to believe that Keith could fall even further in the polls, and in such a short amount of time. This is something I already feel like I have to keep reporting every couple of weeks. They've been in government for about 10 months now, just over 10 months. And it's just down, 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 down. So there's a new YouGov poll that's come out. I'll be taking a look at that later. But it really does show how far he's fallen, even just in the last 4 weeks. And a lot of that is down to what he's chosen to do after the local elections, of course. What else has been happening this week with Labour? There've been talks in Europe apparently about this. It's not going to turn out to be anything substantial, whatever it is. Where the EU is concerned. It's trying to negotiate over travel visas and such, but no. We're not going to be back in the single market, are we? The customs union, that's the problem. That's the bulk of the problem, people, as well. Nina Sadie, how are you doing? Happy Socialist Sunday. We're just enjoying some fondue. Here as the temperature starts to drop from the 20s to the high teens as we get into the evening. Refreshing, refreshing melted cheese based buffet. Oh, that's not what they feed the dog. Just good old-fashioned water and dog food. And we've got Jojo in the house as well. Nice to see her. In the lounge. Coming straight into the lounge, joining the stream. Through the fondue party. I'm not too bad, Dina Sadie, thank you very much for asking. Quite a busy week. Quite productive as well. It is an earworm though, you know, It's hard to get out of your head, believe me. Oh, we had another first on the channel this week as well, didn't we? As well as the 100 members. Wanted to say, Postman Twat in this week's PMQs. During Keith's catchphrases, took his first defeat. And quite a defeat it was. He got hammered. Maggie Thatcher! Maggie Thatcher! Your boy Keir Starmer took one hell of a beating. Alright, so I'll more or less lay the groundwork there for the stream, what's going to be coming up. So we'll say bye to Keith for now. Bye, Keith. By the time we get back, he'll probably have already dropped another 5 points in the polls. Hehe. Right, keeping things on a more uplifting note now. I've got another great video from Rathbone, who strongly recommend that you go and follow. Rathbone, Rathbone. This is the latest one from him. It's pretty brief, but it's bang on the nose.
You're starving 2.3 million people? But we're the chosen p-hole! You've been illegally occupying territory acquired through a war of aggression for the better part of a century? This is our poopy land! Says who? God! God? Probably. Well, why do you need violence to maintain it?
We're not violent, we're very peaceful.
You're single-handedly at war with 5 countries right now. Nuh-uh! They started it! Why can't you keep your citizens safe? Everyone should remember the hologram! You've murdered 15,000 children at least. But it's my favorite thing. Why don't you allow independent investigations in Gaza? We are the independent investigation! You bombed every hospital in Gaza. They were all anti-Semitic! The hospitals were? Hamas-spitals, yes. And the Hamasks. Your soldiers shit their pants so hard at the prospect of facing actual combat that they hide in a bunker and bomb civilians in public infrastructure indiscriminately with a PlayStation controller? We have the right to defend ourselves. You sniped 3-year-olds with the same kill tactic used against Osama bin Laden and then harvested their organs? Oh my god, they all want to grape us. There's so much graping. It's a mass grapening. There's no evidence that they graped you. But 3,000 years ago! You bombed little kids in their sleep. But the Merneptah steal? You can't commit a genocide. But according to the Old Testament, we have the right to Delulu.
Rathbone. I love that. Hamas-spitals. Great. A lot of great wordplay in there as well. So give Rathbone a follow. That's from Instagram, if you are on Instagram. And you follow Rathbone. But he's also on Blue Sky and Twitter as well as YouTube. Do double check though. He had to create a new YouTube profile. I think his last one got taken down. Because I don't want to sound like a tin hat or anything, people, but they are kind of, you know, not making it easy for left-leaning content providers, if you know what I mean. We know. And we got Chris and Edward and Brett as well in the chat. Nice to see you. Okay, let's get into things, people. There were huge marches all across the world this weekend. 500,000 people. Apologies, a slight mic problem there. I just want to play that brief snippet again. Just take a look here. You can see the sheer scale of this march, and huge props and solidarity to anybody who was down there on, again, another baking day, as they've been all week here in England. Let us know if you were there, because 500,000 people, I dare say there's a good chance that one or two viewers might have been there. Well, I know actually for a fact that some were. Just to represent the true scale of the march, and others took place as well across the world. There was another huge one in the Netherlands that marched up to The Hague as well. But for this one, which took place in London, so an hour and a half after the front of the march had set off from Embankment, which is where everybody was meeting up, people were still waiting to set off. That's how long the line of people was. So an hour and a half after they set off, and people at Embankment, which those of you who know London will know is close to Westminster and also the London Eye and New Scotland Yard. Landmarks. So incredible. I couldn't be there myself, unfortunately. However, yes, you heard it here first, people. Might be making another trip next weekend with some more exclusive footage and whatnot to come from that London. But I'll be getting on to the details of that later on. Graham Turner, nice to see in the chat as well. Happy Socialist Sunday. So let's see what else has been happening, people. Got quite a choice, quite a selection. Just wanted to bring up the membership goal as well. Thanks for the ton. We've reached the ton. This is one of the latest articles, and then I'll get onto some clips and things, and of course that great protest action at Eurovision. So I'll just read through a couple of little snippets of this. Israeli forces have besieged a hospital in northern Gaza as they continue an offensive to seize territory in the Strip. The Hamas-run health ministry has said medical staff and patients at the Indonesian hospital in Beit Lahia came under heavy fire, preventing the arrival of patients, medical staff and supplies, the ministry said on Sunday. At least 67 people have died and 300... Oh, God. It's terrible, isn't it? 361 have been injured in the last 24 hours. Over recent days, I think that total is well over 250 now officially in deaths. And injuries would be in the low thousands, I'd imagine, at this point. Thousands of people have been killed since Israel resumed its strikes on the 18th of March following the collapse of a fragile ceasefire, which lasted 2 months. Well, it didn't even last 2 months, did it, of course? We've been reporting on the channel and sharing stories that it was violated almost immediately by Israel. But aid agencies have warned about the risk of famine among Gaza's 2.1 million population as footage and accounts emerge of emaciating children suffering malnutrition. Israel has been blockading supplies of food and other aid from entering the territory for 10 weeks. That's something we've discussed as well recently on the channel as well. And also, if you went on any of the recent streams, David Mensa's recent outing on ITV, I think he was on Radio 4's Today programme as well, trying to say that it was Hamas who were causing the starvation because they're stealing all of the food that isn't going in. Just does not compute, does it? They can't be looting the trucks because the trucks aren't getting in. There's not even anything to loot. And we're going to hear in just a moment from a representative at UNRWA. I've got a clip of that. I'll just say a little bit about these new ceasefire talks. They're going to be indirect talks, according to the article, aimed at securing a ceasefire. They were held yesterday in Qatar, just hours after Israel launched its major new illegal offensive. They omitted the word illegal for some reason. Hamas offered to release 9 hostages in exchange for a 60-day truce, a Palestinian official told the Beeb. The official said the new proposed deal would also allow the entry of 400 aid trucks per day and the evacuation of medical patients from Gaza. Israel in turn has demanded proof of life and detailed information about all of the remaining hostages. Israel said prior to the talks it would not withdraw troops from Gaza or commit to an end to the war. Netanyahu earlier this month promised a major military escalation, if that's one way you want to put it, in the war to occupy controlled swathes of Gaza, force the Palestinian population to the south of the territory and, quote, destroy Hamas. But that's something he's been saying for the last 18 months, isn't it? That's not an achievable or realistic goal. That's just going to prolong and perpetuate the slaughter. The real goal, we know, of course, is this insane idea of the Greater Israel, to displace or eliminate every single Palestinian or Gazan and then do the same in other nations. It's a maniacal plan, as you know, literally as you can put it. It's like James Bond shit. So that's simply not achievable, and so far as well, they haven't really made a dent. It's a well-known fact, you know, sociologically and within warfare, within these kinds of situations, that they create more radicals from their actions than they eliminate. Do you think that boys who have seen the whole families killed and the homes destroyed aren't going to have some sort of resentful attitude towards that they might one day want to be vengeful? No, they don't consider things like that. So it's ridiculous, as well as we all know, illegal. Reason for doing so, they have, of course, finished, as they always do, with these few sentences here. So I have to say, personally, I don't hold much hope for these ceasefire negotiations, as I haven't for any that have taken place over the last 18 months. We all know why. We all know what happens. There's definitely a pattern that's emerged over the last year and a half where ceasefire talks are concerned. If it looks like they are making any progress whatsoever, they'll just get completely destroyed at the last moment by Netanyahu, who would jump in with some unreasonable demand to which he knows that Hamas couldn't possibly agree. The talks will break down and then Netanyahu will try and blame Hamas. That's mostly the way it's gone. They've managed to achieve an agreement but once in the last 18 months, and that was again immediately violated. So what are we to expect? Let's hear what UNRWA think about the latest situation, and if you really do want a good accounting from on the ground, then UNRWA certainly know what they're talking about, and that is, of course, pardon me, why Netanyahu wants to eliminate UNRWA and again make ridiculous accusations against them.
It's a complete and utter horror show, and it doesn't end. Speaking to my colleagues, and their teeth are chattering as I talk with them because they're in shock. They're trembling. They're watching children be killed in strikes in front of their eyes. The horrors just don't end. It's day, it's night. They're not sleeping. And on top of that, they're starving. They're not eating. A lot of them are saying they've run out of food. Maybe someone has half a bag of flour left and they're sharing it among the shelter. But it's been 11 weeks now that no aid, no supplies, nothing has entered the Gaza Strip. And people are starving. It's a political starvation. I'm sat here in Amman, and as I'm talking to you, we're surrounded by aid here. We have warehouses of aid that can be in the Gaza Strip in 2 or 3 hours. Why is it not there? It's unforgivable what is happening to people in Gaza right now.
It is absolutely unforgivable. 100%. We know the reason it's being done. Malnutrition and starvation are being used as a weapon of war. This is in clear violation of international law, of the Geneva Convention. There's several layers of evil to this. This is how sick Israel are. They don't just attack the civilian population, they then attack those who go to their aid. They try to hinder and indeed kill and maim members of UNRWA, other members of the United Nations, members of the World Central Kitchen. It's a tactic that they also use on the civilian population, one of the despicable military tactics. They're deliberately targeting those going to the aid of others. And we need real action, but we're not seeing it. We're not seeing it. As much as what Antonio Guterres says when he takes to the stage is true, and I 100% agree with him, this has to be backed up by action. Otherwise, what is the point of such organisations? Are they so impotent that they can't even challenge the greatest atrocities that are taking place in the world right now? The most obvious atrocities that are being documented in real time here in the communications age. However much Israel wants to try and to press that wants to try and attack journalists. The truth is getting out, and we're hearing a lot of eyewitness testimonies. Even the BBC themselves are waking up to the fact that there's obviously a great element of suspicion in the fact that Israel won't let any mainstream media into the country. Jeremy Boyne, for example, we've heard even point this out, but still they persist to act as though they're not completely aware of what's going on. And they say it's because of the sake of balance, but they're sort of distracted and blinkered by that, as well as the fact that they've lost sight of one of the actual goals of reporting the news, which is to tell the fucking truth. That's the fundamental bottom line of reporting, is to tell the truth, not just what someone says. You know, Israel says this, such and such says that. That's not news. It's not supposed to be a platform for liars, it's supposed to be a source of information. And I think it would take, realistically, something like one of the members of the mainstream news to be killed by the IDF for them to actually have some sort of enlightenment, you know, start to not try and be balanced. Air quotes. Yeah. And people are getting sick of this. People are actually taking action against this across the world, as we just saw earlier. And now at Eurovision as well. So you're probably aware of what's going on, and if you thought you recognised the lovely fella in the video, or videos I should say, that have been going viral in the last day or two, then yeah, that's a friend and associate of mine, David, I featured a few weeks ago when we were at Shell HQ, if you remember that, on the JSO final march. I'm going to start actually with his testimony, which is from Youth Demand's Twitter page. Then we'll take a look at the actual action itself, and then on to a speech of his that I filmed on that day I just mentioned. So this is David from Youth Demand. So this was up during Israel's performance at Eurovision. I just want to point out as well. Of course, a reminder there was a boycott against the participation as well. And I'll show you a little bit of what actually happened during the action after we hear this testimony.
Hello, my name is David, I'm 22 years old, and tomorrow I'm going to attempt to disrupt the Israeli performance at Eurovision with Youth Demand. After 3 months of Israel's blockade of Gaza, blocking food, water, key medical aid, in the last 36 hours alone, over 250 innocent Palestinian civilians have been killed at the hands of Israel. This is an Israeli state which is actively armed by our UK government and others across Europe. And to top it all off, here we are having a party with them on the biggest stage of them all. Now, I'll be honest, I'm absolutely terrified to take this action tomorrow, but After watching the horrors unfold in Gaza over the last 18 months, I felt as if I'm left with very little choice other than to escalate my actions. And I encourage every single person who's listening to join us in resistance. Go to youthdemand.org, sign up. Thank you so much.
David from Youth Demand. So we'll take a look at the action itself now. The mainstream have edited it out, of course, but there is some footage that's emerged from the crowd, and you can just about sort of make out what's going on during the song. I've forgotten the name of the Israeli performer, whatever, but they were a member of the IDF, which makes it even worse. Not just that Israel are represented in this apparently Europe-based song contest, you know, but the fact that they're actually directly part of the illegal actions of Israel. So I'll just take that back a moment when the lights were up a bit more on the crowd. Okay. Might have to. So you can see there's a Palestine flag down there, I think. But also here on the stage. Just wanted to say, David was one of 3 people who took action, and he was David himself was immediately grappled by the security, which is something I'm probably certain you've seen some footage of today on social media. You could see it lit up a bit better there. Sorry, it's only a brief clip. And you heard the crowd booing there. They're not booing the protest, which is normally what happens with this sort of thing. JSO and Youth Demand have disrupted lots of cultural events. But in this instance, they're all booing Israel, which was edited out as well. Some serious censorship going on there. There's quite a bit of underhanded activity taking place during this as well. Let's have a look at the security grappling David. Okay, just want to point out, if you remember the clip that I played from Shell HQ, you'll remember he was stood on a wall during the speech. We're going to see that again later on. I do just quickly want to point out, for those who know David, it's, you know, strikingly obvious he's a particularly tall fella. He's one of the tallest people who I know, well over 7 foot tall, so you can see the guards perhaps being a bit taken aback by that as well. But they do get a little bit, or try and get a little bit heavy-handed. But you can see how relentless David is, and that's brilliant. He's a lovely, wonderful, caring fella, and he's very brave for doing this as well. But despite the best efforts, he continues to shout out and call for a free Palestine. Can you see that there? Look at that there. He's trying to get him in the throat with his elbow, with his arm. as I pointed out as well, it's obviously it's a big reach. But then, yeah. Look at that, they're pulling his hair. They're pulling his hair there. I think that was this guy who's just gotten up, who's got the sort of yellow earpiece in that you can see, who's got his hand on his shoulder right now. But he's not going anywhere. You can see that there's no need for that. This, brilliant. Well done, David. Arm in the air, shouting "Free Palestine." Top fella. Well done, David. Very well done. He was led out of the building and detained. I think they were searching him, and so on and so forth. I'll keep you posted on how he's doing. He's not available at the moment for obvious reasons. But if you are watching this, when you do get back, David, top action there. We love you and very well done. So yeah, let's all give a shout out to David in the chats or in the comments if you're watching back on a replay. I've got Odin in the chat as well now. Sorry, there was a bit of a problem with the chat screen being frozen for a little bit during that clip. Looks like it's back up and running now. So I think it's certainly worth reminding ourselves what he had to say. Well, this was about 4-5 weeks ago when we were outside Shell HQ. So if you want to know a bit more about what David's philosophy is as well as youth demands, then certainly check this out. More than happy to give him a free plug here on the channel. Okay, so this is his speech that I filmed outside Shell HQ on JSO's last March. I think we're back. Are we back? Just a quick reload there. I just started the clip and yeah, then it basically told me to go and fuck myself and crashed. I'm sorry about that. I'm going to try again. Maybe it's a conspiracy theory. No, I'm not sure. Don't get your tin hats out. Right, so this should hopefully be David Curry's speech from Shell HQ, take 2. I'm sure I'm using the compressed version. I recorded it in HD, but just for the stream I compressed it down, so here we go.
Scary up here. Hello everyone, my name is David and today I have the pleasure of speaking on behalf of the Youth Demand campaign. It's an absolute honour to speak at the last action of what has been nothing less than the most successful civil resistance campaign in modern history. I got involved in late 2022, where I was met with a community of the most kind, brave and resilient people I've ever met. And I was lucky enough that they empowered me into stepping up into resistance. And today is about not only celebrating all that we have achieved, but also remembering the sacrifice that every single one of us here has put into this campaign, and all of those who are still in prison have too. So let's just give it up for them. And in early 2024, energised by all that we had learned and experienced within Just Stop Oil, a small group of Just Stop Oil students went to form Youth Demand, a sister campaign to Just Stop Oil, sitting within the wider umbrella structure. And we were fueled by the rage of watching the genocide of the Palestinian people unfold, and set up this campaign. Now, as was just mentioned, we have two clear demands of the UK government. First of all, we want a full trade embargo with Israel, nothing less. And second of all, we demand a tax on the fossil fuel giants such as those sat in this building and the economic elite to fund $1 trillion in climate damages for the most vulnerable people in the global south. And it's super important that we fight for these issues alongside each other, because it's the same companies who are making money off setting fire to the global south who are profiting off the genocide of the Palestinian people. And both crises are just symptoms of the same broken imperialist system which is built upon colonialism and is reproducing these same colonial relationships in the name of nothing other than profit. Shame! Shame! And so it is crucial at this time that we broaden the frame beyond climate, beyond Palestine, and look to the root cause, which is a broken capitalist economic system and a rotten political system. And we need to keep going until we replace it with a system which is run by the people, for the people, nothing less. And built upon this understanding, we've been fighting tirelessly for over a year now to hold our genocidal government accounts. Some highlights include spraying up the Ministry of Defence, spraying up Labour headquarters, giving Keir Starmer a visit, even taking a shit in Rishi Sunak's lake. And most recently, this April, we've been engaged in daily disruptive actions right at the belly of the beast here in London to put pressure on our government and spark national conversations about how our government is actively fueling genocide in Palestine. And in the last 3 weeks, we've done over 70 actions. 70 actions! Disruption, putting pressure on this state.
You've got to say that's impressive, 70 actions in the space of a couple of months.
Now, we proved that we were a real threat before we even did anything. I think a lot of people here will have seen, only a few weeks ago now, when we were doing a welcome talk at Westminster Quakers House, the Met Police kicked the door down with over 20 officers, arrested every single person in attendance, then went on to raid their homes, some of them in student halls. We say shame on you to the Met. But we will not be silenced. We will not be silenced. We will continue to resist until our demands are met and beyond. And this is why we're here today. We are not going to stop. We are going to carry this flame, this inspiration that everyone in this beautiful movement gave us. We're going to carry it forward, and we're going to continue to resist. We're going to continue to hold our government to account. So the last thing I want to say is, please, everyone, come and join us We are led by young people, but we are fueled by everyone. And we need every single person to come down, join us, cause disruption, and bring attention to the genocide that our government is actively fueling. So everyone, please come along. Our next big open event is going to be on the 24th of May in central London, 3 till 8 p.m. Have a look on the Instagram for the location. It's not being announced yet. And yeah, it would be sick to see everyone down here. But
Sorry, problem with the mic again. Yeah, just wanted to say I'm going to be down there myself, and hopefully I'm going to be having a chat with David, so look out for some exclusive content.
Thank you again, everyone, for all that you have done and for the amazing display of solidarity that we've displayed today. Thank you so much.
Top lad, brave lad. Yeah, great action there yesterday. Props again. Big up to David. As well, if you're in London and you fancy going down to that, do check out the Instagram, as David said. Yeah, I'm very proud to be a supporter of Youth Demand myself, so. Come on, come on. Yeah, so if you were thinking, no, I've seen that guy somewhere before, that's where you've seen him before. And he is a Geordie as well. I could see, Chris, you were obviously recognising the accent there. Yeah, and he's a Newcastle fan. I can confirm. Sneaky Fish, great to see you. Thanks for joining us in the chat. Sneaky Fish, a crafty cod, a cunning carp. Oh, great to see you. Mole, great to see you as well. And thanks for joining us with a gifted membership as well. Awesome. Tiberius. Do enjoy the perks. Thanks a lot for that, Mo, and for your continued support on the channel as well. You played a massive part in helping us get to that 100 goal, and now 101. Finally, I can start to announce the total in a darts announcer voice with perhaps a bit more credibility than double-digit numbers. Okay, people, there's more to dig into on the action that David took part in. So, for anyone who's not familiar with the results, Israel did very well. Apparently on the so-called popular vote as well, the public vote. And this doesn't, shall we say, marry up with the current polling for favourability within Europe. Let's take a look at some stats. Oh, just quickly before we do look at the stats, I did have one more clip to play, apologies. Just for a bit more about what Youth Demand are about. This is some of the other stuff that they've been doing in London. It's a short clip, but they were part of the massive march that took place yesterday. It's doing my tits. Yeah, we're back. Sorry, apologies with the mic. Again, it's doing my tits in this evening. But those are the sort of actions, the 70 or so. It's quite far above 79 in the last couple of months or so, so well done. Let's take a look at that poll though. As I mentioned, just bear with me, I've got to just adjust the monitor settings for me. There we go. Every time I have to get the mic back on, I have to make sure everything's coming through in my cans, because it starts to come out through the laptop. Just a quick insight there. But it goes no surprise, especially considering recent events, that Israel's favourability in Europe doesn't look too great at the moment. Very clear picture there. You can see most unfavourable in Spain, who of course have officially recognised Palestine as a state, as well as announced embargoes on Israel as well. Norway, Sweden, Great Britain, France, Germany, and at the bottom there, Italy, who are the least favourable with 12%, and 61% unfavourable. Ireland aren't on there. I'd like to see the stats for Ireland as well as, well, every other country. But then they've gone on to do tremendously well in the vote. And a few, this is the thing at the moment, it's the sheer hubris of these Zionists, the sense of exceptionalism that they think that they have, that they can openly gloat about what they're doing, and in their minds that comes without any consequence, without any repercussions whatsoever. And we've seen footage of IDF soldiers gloating about the war crimes on several occasions, haven't we? But this one is just to, unbrazenly admit that there's been a vote rigging operation, using different profiles, different credit cards, so on and so forth. And they even put out paid ads on Instagram and TikTok and other social media, encouraging other people to do the same. And obviously combined with the boycott against Eurovision itself. That's what's led to it. But isn't that just absolutely, how obvious can it get? So this uploader voted 60 times, and she even says where she did it from. Someone else commented that they voted 100 times using 5 different credit cards. This is, this has been posted on the social media, for God's sake. You've not really had to do a lot of detective work to find this out. Oh, of course, Sneaky Fish, quite correct there. He did point out that they were rigging, of course, they'd go through the usual cycle. They'd accuse you of anti-Semitism. Here's how you respond, and I can give you a step-by-step guide, if you like, if you ever find yourself in any of these online debates or whatever. The first step is to respond by asking your accuser if they know what a Semite is, and unless their response is that Semites are the populations in that area which speak Hebrew, Arabic and Aramaic, then they're lying, because it's not exclusive to Judaism. It defines the population of that area and the speaker of those languages. More steps to come. Trust me. It works. Just finally though, finish on a positive. Obviously we saw those great actions at Eurovision. That was something definitely like to see more of. But this comes from Toronto in Canada at a recent demonstration where a lone Zionist tried to agitate the crowd, as they obviously do, and then obviously the next step in their plan would be to try and play the victim or whatever. But he came across the wrong police officer in this case, and his overconfidence and hubris came flying back in his face. So just check this one out. It's not often, obviously we've seen a lot of cases of misuse of power by the police during demonstrations, shall we say. That's putting it perhaps too politely. But this is quite the opposite, so it's a bit more refreshing to see.
I did not. What are you talking about?
Well, absolutely. Acting Inspector Ford told me they had a meeting area for you and you guys stayed in it,
They came back. We did not.
Well,
because it's not up to him to say you have free speech stand, but not me.
well, yeah, because you're inciting this crowd and then it reaches the peace. Well, your presence is inciting them, and that's exactly what you're trying to
Because
do.
I'm a Jew.
No, because you're trying to incite them.
I haven't tried to incite them. I went to take a picture of the hate crime that
You could
you're
have done it on
abounding.
the other side. You didn't need to walk over.
No, I wanted to go out. I don't
Now I'm
do
going to tell you to
any
move over there.
And
you can
ultimately,
don't cross
I allowed you to take that video.
Let's
I allowed you to take that
Yeah.
video.
So you're refusing to leave?
I'm refusing to leave.
Why?
Because I'm a Jew, I'm a citizen, and I'm your boss. And I don't leave because you say Jews aren't
Well, you know
allowed.
what?
Actually believe that? Can you actually believe that, people? Because I'll play the whole thing again in a moment, but that response there, I'm a Jew, I'm a citizen, and I'm your boss. What does being a Jew have to do with anything?
I'm a citizen, and I'm your boss.
And I'm your boss, I'm your boss. It's not actually how it works, pal. You pay his salary with your taxation, perhaps, but structurally, no, you're definitely not his boss. If you were, he wouldn't do what he does. He gets his just desserts. Let's just watch that back again.
Why?
Because I'm a Jew, I'm a citizen, and I'm your boss. And I don't leave because you say Jews aren't
Well, you know
allowed on
what?
the street.
In the interest of keeping peace here and public safety, you're under arrest for breach of the peace.
Oh, yes. You are under arrest, douchebag.
Take this.
Yes. Oh, that didn't work out. That didn't work out, did it? No? Maybe you don't try and incite a peaceful protest next time. That was on TikTok. I don't know if you can read the uploader there, but it's at Arabic Post who provided this one. Let's just see the whole thing again. Douchebag. Douchebag of the week.
I did not. What are you talking about?
Well, absolutely. Acting Inspector Ford told me they had a meeting area for you and you guys stayed in it, and
not.
they came back.
We did not. Well, because it's not up to him to say you have free speech stand, but not me.
Well, yeah, because you're inciting this crowd and then it reaches the peace. Well, your presence is inciting them, and that's exactly what you're trying to
Because I'm
do.
a Jew.
No, because you're trying to incite
I
them.
haven't tried to incite them. I went to take a picture of the hate crime that
You could
you're
have done it on
abounding.
the other side. You didn't need to walk over.
No, I wanted to go out. I don't
Now I'm
do
going to tell you to
any-
move over there.
And
you can
ultimately,
don't cross
I allowed you to take that video.
Let's
I allowed you to take that
Yeah.
video.
So you're refusing to leave?
I'm refusing to leave.
Why?
Because I'm a Jew, I'm a citizen, and I'm your boss. And I don't leave if you say Jews aren't
Well, you know
allowed on
what?
the street.
In the interest of keeping peace here and public safety, you're under arrest for breach of the peace. Take a minute.
Good. Take this.
Well done to that officer there in Toronto, in Canada. That's the gotcha face, isn't it? That's the... Maybe at that moment where I've just freeze the video. It's like, oh, maybe that was a bad idea. Yeah, you're damn right. Get the fuck out of here. That wasn't a Toronto accent, by the way. Just... We've got Guitar Guy in the chat as well, nice to see you. That's something else that might put a smile on your face in just a moment. It's some of the latest YouGov polling on Labour. Just bear with me one sec, people, I'll get that set up. Alright, so it's not looking good for Keith. These two polls, the one on the top taken just 4 weeks before the one on the bottom, but you can see they're across the board, even in areas where it didn't really look like he could get any more unfavourable. Alas, he surpassed even our lowest expectations. So let's just go over these. Oh dear, Keith. Get your small violins out, people. Maybe sticking with pandering to the far right isn't particularly working out as well as he'd hoped. So among all Britons, he's gone from 28% favourability to and 62% unfavourable to 23 favourable and 69 unfavourable. The biggest drop, though, something which should concern Keith if he isn't already, is that amongst people who voted Labour in last year's election, it's gone from a 62% favourable rate down to 45%, with the unfavourability rate rising from 33 to 50. That's particularly in 4 weeks, remember, this is in just 4 weeks. And all he's done since the local election, on social media at least, is bang on about immigration day after day after day after day. He still can't see that that's what cost him the losses at the locals. So amongst Lib Dem voters, he's fallen from a 47% favourability rate to 39%, an increase from 48% unfavourable to 52%. Stayed about the same with people who voted Tory last year. But even people who voted Reform at last year's general election only favoured him by 4%, and even that's been reduced to 2. He's just even managed to squeeze, you know, a bit more out of that. You didn't think he could sink any lower, but there it goes. But that's the big one. That's the one he should be concerned with, the voters in last year's election. It was great to see Zara Sultana calling out Morgan McSweeney as well this week for that line in his speech. You know, the strangers in our own country. They knew what they were doing. Of course, Sarah's an independent now, but she's familiar with the process, and she said, well, I can tell you who this was, and it was Morgan McSweeney, and this is, you know, how he did it. They would have just scoured through a lot of Enoch Powell speeches in their efforts to try and outflank reform from the right. And that's what they came out with. Disgusting. Really do wish our forefathers and foremothers were here, you know, to tell us their thoughts about that specifically, as well as some myriad of other things. Yeah, Sneaky Fish, he's probably gone into hiding now, Morgan McSweeney. There's another rumour going around as well that up to half of the people who voted for Labour last year could be planning on voting for the Greens or Lib Dem at the next general election. Long-term viewers will, of course, be more than familiar with what I think about neoliberalism. However, a Lib Dem Green coalition would certainly be preferable to what we've got at the moment and what came before it. Perhaps through gritted teeth I would take that, certainly over a reform government as well, if we're talking about the 29 election. Still a long way away though, but I just do not see what Starmer can do now to turn this around. His excuses for continuing the austerity haven't washed. His continuation on shouting about immigration hasn't worked. Barring any massive, and I do mean massive, large-scale funding and support of public services between now and the next general election, for example, I really can't see it happening. Like, in terms of polling, electorally, I think Starmer's a dead man walking at this point. Yes, Edward Sexby just back on that rumour about Lib Dems and the Greens picking up votes from Labour. Well, that was just a hypothetical I was thrown out there as well. I don't think that could be literally, realistically, the end result. The next GE. And that also does come with a footnote that it would depend on the proportionality, with whether it's a straight 50-50 coalition. We know what Lib Dems did in 2010. You don't have to look that far back through recent history politically here in the UK. Do share your thoughts on that that latest poll. That comes from Stats for Lefties, just to give a shout out. They also provided the Israel favourability poll that I brought up earlier. Sorry, don't know if I mentioned that. But shout out to Stats for Lefties, go and give them a follow as well. These are the real consequences. He's doing all the hard work for him, isn't he? Really? Alright, moving on in just a moment, people. I'll be right back, just gotta top up my drink. Whilst I'm gone, make sure you've hit the thumbs up button and shared this stream or some of the other content around your social media. Yeah, I'll be right back, people. I'll leave you with Herbie and the Supersonics for a quick moment. Alright, moving on. Just quickly, we were talking about the Greens for a moment there. Latest on that leadership election. Apparently former leader Caroline Lucas is back in Adrian Ramsey and sorry, I've had a brain fart. What's she called? It'll come to me. But yeah, she's not getting behind Zach Polanski, who seems to be picking up popularity online at least. Obviously you've got to join the party and vote if you want to back him. I'm not a Green member myself. Could be a close race. Just back to matters with Starmer now, though. The plot thickens, people. These incidents that keep happening, this arson. There's been a couple of updates since I was last with you on a stream, so I'll just quickly go over those. Get your deerstalker hats out and your pipes, people. Let's investigate. Okay, I'll just go over to the screen. First off, a second man has been arrested. Other fires, which have some links to the Prime Minister. Remember, of course, he wasn't living in the house. These vehicles in question are loosely connected to him as well. But a second man's been arrested. There was a 21-year-old man that was arrested earlier in the week. So this fellow was arrested on Saturday at Luton Airport on suspicion of conspiracy to commit arson with intent to endanger life at the airport. That's interesting. Is that arrivals, departures? So there was a fire at a vehicle in Kentish Town, a fire at the Prime Minister's private home on the same street, which he doesn't live in at the moment, of course. And an address he previously lived in, which is in northwest London. Roman Lovrinovich, 21, is the one who was arrested earlier in the week. Now, it turns out he's Ukrainian, so that's another development as well. Could you imagine the uproar if he'd been from Palestine? Does that mean that it's something that's significant, though, in these actions, is the fact that he's from Ukraine, perhaps pertinent to that? Why does he have it in for Starmer? Because Starmer's certainly throwing plenty of our tax money in towards what's that, but you don't know what's going on in Ukraine. Obviously, there are elements of the far right there in Ukraine, which is why I choose not to support them. That doesn't mean that I back Putin either. Don't like authoritarianism. The way that it clamps down on protest is obvious. Homophobia and other disgusting elements. You don't have to choose between one or the other. I cannot like both. So we don't know really if that's an element, that's a factor. So two people makes a conspiracy. Yeah, that's bit of an interesting development. Just wanted to bring up to speed with that one. Alright, I've got another comedy clip. This one, the Hitler rants parodies. Just before we go into it, do share your thoughts and theories, of course, on those incidents. Do you think that the fact that this guy's from Ukraine could be significant in the motive, that is? They've arrested two people. Do you think that there could be more? Could this broaden out? Let me know. And make sure you hit the thumbs up button while you do it. Thanks a lot. Solidarity. Alright. Hitler rants parodies. Go and give them a follow.
Was ist los? Woher kommt die Schießerei?
Mein Führer, darf ich Ihnen zum Geburtstag gratulieren?
Wenn er sich ohne Befehl entfernt hat, ist das Fahnenflucht. Verrat!
Mein Führer, wir haben noch keine Meldung. Ich spreche gerade mit Koller.
Koller, geben Sie mir Koller.
Hello. Is this Hitler I'm speaking to?
Sie wissen, dass Berlin unter Artilleriefeuer liegt.
Look, we don't need anything from you.
Hören Sie den Beschuss nicht?
What could you possibly offer me that's so great that I would even consider signing a trade deal with your Reich?
Die Russen sollen eine Eisenbahnbrücke über die Oder haben.
Those rockets are awful. They are outdated and frankly a big waste of money.
Das sind ja nur 12 Kilometer bis zum Stadtkern. Ist der Russe schon so nah?
Well, your Reich is pretty weak if that's the best you have to offer.
Haben Sie noch Zweifel an meinem Befehl? Ich glaube!
Go ahead, I'm not scared of your tariffs. Everyone knows you're just a poor old man.
Dann soll die Armee im Kehrtmacht allein auf mich gestellt.
I'm sure the Russians will offer me a better deal for your head. They already have you completely surrounded.
Widerstand in den Weg gelegt! Ich hätte gut daran getan!
I'm willing to help you to end the war by negotiating your surrender.
Hat die Korruption in unserem Staat möglich gemacht!
It's clear to me that you're in big trouble, and your desire for a tariff deal with the United States is just a desperate act from a man who is clearly losing.
Sich zu autorisieren behauptet, ich wäre krank!
You're deluded if you think you can win a trade war against me. I could easily annex your Reich of failure.
Jeder hat mich belogen, sogar die SS. Die gesamte Generalität ist nichts weiter als ein Haufen niederträchtiger, treuloser Feiglinge.
Your mistake is thinking you have anything worthy of being traded. Your threats of imposing a 1,000,000% tariff on the United States is meaningless.
Ist das Feiglinge, verreiter Versager!
I can't imagine I will regret it as much as you must regret hiring Fegelein.
Bringen Sie mir Fegelein!
That doesn't matter. What is more important is that you should be focusing more of your time on finding Berlin.
Von allem Anfang an bin ich so verraten und betrogen worden.
I think you're the one doing the trolling. You told me you have impressive V2 rockets, but there is nothing impressive about them.
Flammer unberechenbarer Künstler. All die anderen, ja.
The only thing that should be fired is you. And preferably you should be fired into space. And I'm sure I can get Elon to do that.
Man müsste die ganze Luftwaffenführung sofort aufhängen! Das ist unerhört. Unerhört. Der Russe steht 12 Kilometer vom Stadtkern. Und ich erfahre das sozusagen auf Nachfrage.
Mein Führer, vielleicht handelt es sich ja wirklich um Fernfeuer. Sie erwähnten eine Eisenbahnbrücke über die Oder.
Ach, Unsinn!
Very good. Get the rants parodies. Taken from that great film, Downfall, of course. Alright, people, will be having another dive into Keith's Fondue Lounge in just a moment. I want to say another shout out to the members though. Of course, many thanks for helping to achieve that great milestone. Thanks for the gifted membership this evening, Mo. That's been much appreciated. If you're watching back on a replay, super thanks are open as well. There's a buy me a coffee page in the channel description as well if you want to help to sustain my left eye in that fashion. And further thanks to those of you who've renewed your memberships, as well as gifted those to others recently as well, of course. And now that we've got to 100, I've had to speed up the video a little as well. So thank you very much again, everybody. You awesome people. Marvellous members. So how's the party going? Still going. I notice it's the same guests every week, isn't it? It's uncanny. It's getting a bit predictable now. Yeah, we'll have to wait and see what Capers, Keith and Co get up to next week. Hope you'll be joining me on the Brews at 10 live streams. Please do. One of those on Wednesday will see if Postman Twat can make a comeback at Keith's catchphrases in PMQs. Otherwise we could see the removal of a legend. So yeah, those will be at, well, the clues in the title, at 10 PM. Hope you'll be joining me for those, and check out recent content on the channel if you haven't done so already. Do stick around on the stream as we come towards the end. We've got a raid coming up. We're going to be diving into Kevin Logan. So make sure that you're subscribed and give him a thumbs up when we get there as well. Brett James is celebrating 10 months of membership here on My Left Eye. Thanks a lot for sticking with us, Brett. It's been great to have you. Chris, I think I'm familiar with Mark Felton. He does the World War II stuff, I believe. It's the slightly dramatic brass introduction music. I think that's who you mean. Oh yeah, Morbius confirms it there. That was a random question. Okay. Happy to address it. Okay, people, I've got that raid set up. We're just about good to go. That brings the stream more or less to a conclusion here on the Sunday the Sunday live stream here on My Left Eye. Thanks a lot for joining me tonight. I'll be jumping over into Kevin Logan for a bit as well, so I'll see you over there. But whatever you do with the rest of your evening, take care everybody. My Left Eye, I'll be seeing you soon. Free Palestine. Power to the people.